Hi caregivers, my name is Sara and I'm a staff developer with the Teachers College Reading and Writing Project. I'm so excited to talk to you today a little bit about the importance of keeping fun and creative notebooks. See, research tells us that switching to analog writing as we absorb the different texts that we read is especially important to creating neural pathways along our brains so we can reference that information later on as we're experiencing different parts of the world. As your students are building their own notebooks, I wanted to give you a couple of tips that can help you encourage them to make even better ones. Here we go. The first tip that I want to give you is to consider paper choice. Paper choice is extremely important as we think about the different ways that our students are processing within their notebooks. We can be working on lined paper, gridded paper, blank paper, dotted paper. There's a gazillion different paper choices out there. As you're trying to figure out and as you're trying to help your student figure out what paper choices they love, I'd recommend starting on blank computer paper. You can draw out boxes or print out lines. You might even have them try this as they become more skilled with their gross motor skills. The second tip that I want to give you is along with paper choice. It's to allow for fluid movement. Somewhere along the line, we got this crazy idea that we had to write left to right, top to bottom. And that's just not true. Notebooks should mimic the ways that our minds work. And sometimes our minds work left to right, top to bottom, but other times they work sideways. Or sometimes we're writing in a jumbled mess all over the page. As your student is working at synthesizing their own thoughts, they should be allowing their pen, their hand, to move in the same way that their thoughts are. Don't try to bound them into restrictions around their movement on the page. Allow them to be fluid. The third tip that I want to offer is to bring in simple props, things like post-it notes or taping in articles. Even thinking about bringing in counters and rulers as your students work in math and science. These simple physical props can make a really big difference as we think about those neural pathways and the ability to include manipulatives into our two-dimensional writing work. The fourth tip that I want to give you is bring in color. Don't just force your student to work solely with their pencil or solely with their blue ballpoint pen. We want to bring in color as much as we possibly can. So consider having a tool near your student, like mine, with a favorite mishmash of all the different tools and colors and pen types that they might possibly use. This can be a box of crayons, colored pencils, oil pastels, washable markers, whatever you have available in your home. Try to create a nice little package that your student can reference right as they're working at their desk. Caregivers, as you're thinking about all the different cool, fun, and creative ways that your students can get involved with their notebooks, consider these tips. And eventually, your students, like me, might have a collection of notebooks that they constantly refer back to and hold as the diaries of their lives. I hope this gives you some amazing things to think about. And until next time, happy notebooking, and off you go.